How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to True Gunners TV. Today, we are here to talk about the transfer saga that feels like it has dragged on for ages and ages. Even though the transfer window has only just opened, we are back again, of course, to talk about Declan Rice. Now, this morning, Fabrizio Romano, the Tier 1 journalist, has given us an update and has said that West Ham feel like this deal is edging closer and closer to being done, and that it will not drag on for much longer. Thank the Lord. However, as we all know, yesterday we was also updated with the fact that Manchester City have now registered a major interest in Declan Rice. Manchester United, another club that have registered an interest in Declan Rice. And of course, Arsenal have been chasing Declan Rice for the past 6 months in negotiations since January. And all three clubs so far have failed to get this deal done. Now, today, I am going to talk about why I feel that this will be a done deal and this will be Declan Rice will be a Manchester City player at the end of all of this. Now, of course, Arsenal have put in the majority of the groundwork. We've been negotiating with him for the past 6 months. Player terms have been agreed. We've made 2 official bids. A talk of a third bid possibly coming in from Arsenal as well. However, we've yet to see that. And then just yesterday, of course, I don't know if Man City have made an official bid or not yet. But what we do know is they are heavily interested in Declan Rice, especially after losing their captain, Ilkay Gundogan, to Barcelona. And that is why they are now heavily invested in Declan Rice. They've been keeping up to date with the negotiations between Arsenal and West Ham. And yesterday made an official proposal to West Ham. Manchester United also have been keeping updated, yet to have made an official proposal as far as I'm aware. However, as I said, Fabrizio Romano this morning on his podcast had stated that West Ham feel like this deal is coming to a close, and we will see where Declan Rice will end up at the end of it all. Now, I'm going to start with number 1, why I feel that Declan Rice will be a Manchester City player at the end of all of this saga. So, number 1, Manchester City, of course, are the most successful football club in recent years in the English Premier League. Last season, they won the Champions League. Last season, they won the Premier League. In fact, last season, they won the treble. They've won 4 or 5 out of the last 6 Premier League titles now. They're an absolute juggernaut of a team with a lot of financial capability behind them. And at Arsenal, we haven't won a trophy for 3 years. We haven't won a Premier League title for 19 years. And we have never in the entire time the competition has been called the Champions League, we have never won it. The closest we ever got was in 2006 when we made the final, but that was, of course, a long time ago now. So, bearing that in mind, if you are Declan Rice, who recently, by the way, there's a video going around that he stated that he doesn't want to become one of these footballers who doesn't win anything. Bit of a dig there to Harry Kane, but he doesn't want to become a footballer that doesn't win trophies. Now, if you've got your pick between Arsenal, Manchester United and Manchester City, there's only one football club that comes out on top in terms of recent history in trophies, and that is Manchester City. So that's number 1. That's the number one thing that is going for Manchester City in this. Number two, a lot of people are talking about the fact that Declan Rice would like to stay in London. And I think that is the only thing that we can cling on to as Arsenal fans right now, is the hope that Declan Rice turns down Manchester City and possibly Man United and any other football club that comes in for him, because he wants to remain in London. Now, of course, there's more than Arsenal in London. We've got Chelsea there as well. However, they haven't made any official proposal for Declan Rice. Be interesting to see, if that is the case, if Chelsea was to come in for him, would he choose Chelsea over Arsenal, for an example? But as of right now, like I say, 3 clubs interested, and I am weighing up the options between the 3 clubs on which one he would prefer to join. So if that happened to be the case and he wants to stay in London, of course, he wouldn't go to Manchester to sign for Man United or Manchester City. However, how true is this? We've seen players that, kind of have said that they want to remain, in a certain location, that have gone on to sign for other clubs because of the fact that they are bigger clubs, or they are more likely to win trophies. They are more likely to be successful at that club. So that would be number 2 for me. I look at that and I feel like, okay, if it's true he wants to remain in London, which I hope it is the case, then at the moment Arsenal are the favourites. However, people are forgetting that, yes, this guy might want to remain in London for family reasons or whatever it may be. But it's not like he's got to move country to go to Manchester United or Manchester City. It's only Manchester. It's not that far away. It's not like he's got to up and leave and get on and adjust to a completely different culture, completely different country. It's all the same, just a different location. And let's be real, Manchester United are a bigger club than Arsenal, and Manchester City right now are a better club than Arsenal. So when you weigh up that option as well, Arsenal kind of finished 3rd out of the 3 clubs in terms of that aspect. And then the main one, number 3, the financial package. Now, let's say, for example, it's true that Declan Rice wants to remain in London. He wants to sign for Arsenal. He has no real interest in signing for the 2 Manchester clubs. What we are, as fans, failing to do is to add West Ham into this equation. Now, what we do know is after the Conference League final, which West Ham won, David Sullivan came out, their owner, in an interview and said on TalkSport, and I quote, "Declan Rice will leave West Ham this summer. He has offered everything that he possibly can to the football club, and we cannot keep hold of him when he wants to leave. He turned down a £200,000 contract from us only 18 months ago. It is very clear that the player wants to move on to bigger things, and we feel, as well as he does, that he can go another level in terms of he can play for a bigger club. He can win major honours." Okay? Now, in this, he also stated that they would have to replace Declan Rice. Now, that would either be with one top quality player or multiple players. So what I read from that is that West Ham want as much money up front as possible for Declan Rice in order for them to do this deal. And regardless of whether the football club meets their valuation or not, if the deal is not structured in a way that suits them, they will reject the bid. So, i.e., Arsenal's first bid, for an example, Arsenal go in, £80 million. It's below the £100 million valuation, but I don't mind that from an Arsenal perspective because you have to try and negotiate the deal. What I do mind is bearing in mind David Sullivan's interview. We have gone in with £80 million guaranteed payments, but over 6 years. What is that negotiating by Arsenal? What are we trying to do here? Are we just trying to piss West Ham off and, for them to turn around and say, look, we ain't going to negotiate with you no more? And rightly so, because they've made it clear that they want money up front, and we go in with a bid like that. However, second bid, £75 million guaranteed up front and £15 million in add-ons. Another ridiculous bid by Arsenal, because although the £75 million guaranteed up front was spread out over less time than the original first bid, the £15 million in add-ons included that you would only receive that money if Arsenal were to win the Champions League, which we've never won in our history, and if Arsenal were to win the Premier League, which we haven't won in 19 years. And that is why that makes that a ridiculous bid. Now, we've yet to receive confirmation of what Manchester City have offered West Ham. But let's, for example, say they have matched Arsenal's bid, but structured the payments over a better period. So let's say, for example, 75 million upfront, guaranteed over 2 years, and we'll give you 15 million in add-ons if we win the Champions League, if we win the Premier League. Which one is more likely? West Ham to win the Premier League, Man City to win the Premier League and the Champions League, or Arsenal to win the Premier League and the Champions League? So, any which way you look at this, Manchester City's bid is more appealing to West Ham. Okay? And Manchester City have something else that Arsenal and Manchester United don't have, which is, as of right now, Manchester United are going through the new owner process. They're not going to spend big money under the current ownership. Arsenal are failing to structure their bids over a considerable period of time. And Manchester City have a multi-billionaire on their board that is willing, and that's the difference, that is willing to spend the money, and they will blow any other team out of the water when it comes to offering cash up front and structuring deals on a reduced period of time. Now, so that becomes an issue as well, because we've got to consider, what do West Ham want? Now, it doesn't matter whether Declan Rice wants to sign for Arsenal or not. If our bid doesn't satisfy West Ham, his current club, then it will be rejected. If Manchester City's bid, however, satisfies what West Ham are looking for, they will accept that bid. Now, having that be the case, Declan Rice no longer has the option of joining Arsenal because West Ham have rejected what Arsenal have offered. So now he has the choice of stay at West Ham or go to Manchester City. And let's be honest, it's a no-brainer. You go to Manchester City. You go to Manchester City, the most successful club in England in recent time, right? Going to win more trophies. They've got the best manager in world football. They're going to offer you a decent financial package. Now that Gundogan has left, they can even offer you a starting place within the team. It's a no-brainer. So all them 3 key points put together, that is why I feel that at the end of all this, Declan Rice will be a Manchester City player. And that's it, guys. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Hopefully, we will hear some more news over the next couple of days about this Declan Rice saga. Hopefully, it won't drag on for much longer. However, from an Arsenal perspective, I feel that if we do not get this deal over the line after 6 whole months of negotiating, agreeing player terms, and giving West Ham their respect to do the whole Conference League final thing, then heads have to roll at Arsenal. It's as simple as that. People have to be held accountable. We cannot, keep losing out on our main choice targets. And if you look at the players that we're currently looking to sign at Arsenal, none of them move the needle like Declan Rice does, especially when we are looking to move Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka on from the team as well. So that's my thoughts and feelings on it. I believe Declan Rice will be a Manchester City player at the end of this transfer window. And I believe Arsenal will lose out on their target yet again. And I also believe that fans should be up in arms and we should be calling for a change in terms of who negotiates our transfers from here on forward, if that happens. So, look, guys, leave it in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this one. Make sure you slap the like button and hit that subscribe button as well. We are 10 away from 1,000. It'd be excellent if we could get there. I'm going to keep bringing more and more content. Hopefully, we don't have to talk about this particular transfer saga for much longer. And yeah, we move. I'm out of here, guys. Cheers.